the decorator design pattern. Decorator design pattern is useful for when you want to add. I hear myself way too much. Can you mute your mic?
Me?
Yeah. Okay. I can no longer hear myself. That's good. So, decorator design pattern is useful for when you need to add functionality to a class, and this can be both in case you don't have access to the class to modify, like if it's a third-party vendor, or if you just want to do good design practices and not be limited to or not include so much logic into one particular class when you should when it would more better be placed in a separate class. So in this case, where's the class? It's in packages,
Yeah,
Salesforce.
Accounts.
So in this case, we have this class. It's called the update secondary info. It contains logic that doesn't belong in a generic Salesforce app. It contains domain-specific information. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this. We're going to change this into a decorator account, something that can handle it. And so the very first thing that you want to do when you create a decorator is you want to create something like an interface that contains all of your main functionalities. So in this case, I think we can create a generic interface called, let's say, RESTful. I think that's good, RESTful, because we want to implement all the CRUD of a RESTful API. So that would be a show. And that would return a JSON response. And we would have, I'm just going to copy this. 8. I'm not for sure why strings would ever be blank. I'm going to make it non-optional. But you want to do this for every single one of your public methods for the class you want to convert into a decorator. All right. So in this case, we've done every one that's in our class, except for the ones we're going to move out. So now I'm just going to say that this class implements RESTful. I think RESTful API would be more descriptive. I'm going to call it the RESTful client.
It could be confusing if we have another RESTful client somewhere.
Yeah.
We have a Salesforce REST all Salesforce client.
I think it'll be fine. Right. And so then now we want to make this into a decorator. So a decorator always is more specific. It adds more functionality. And so we're going to call it, let's call it the class USLS counts. And then what we want to do is we want to say public function construct. And we need to have, at a minimum, instead of calling a rest speaker, we want to call it count, the same type. And then we say public count equals count. And then if we're doing an abstract one, and we would just say public function call, and then pass in everything that we needed. But we're going to be doing a what's called the concrete decorator. That means we pull in these three interfaces. And we use what's called the composition pattern to basically want to say return this, and then this. Oh, I forgot this part. And really, these will still be CRM IDs. There. So right now, what we basically have is a decorator pattern. The difference is that this class basically is the same interface as the original one, and it includes the original one and uses composition pattern. The difference is that now we're going to move this extra logic that should not be in the generic class. We're going to move it into the specific class. So now you have these three things, and at this point, I'm going to separate them into their own individual files. So this one would go into here. We're going to say and then we don't want to put this one in the Salesforce package. That belongs in our own app. So we'll go up here. And it doesn't look like we have a good spot.
What would be appropriate?
I beg to differ. I think it's a new package. I think this would be the USLS Salesforce client. Then we need a. I hope I put that in the right spot. Yeah. And then it needs its own source directory. And then, since it's going to be its own, let me go ahead and paste it out. I think I can just namespace this so it can be its own new source file. I don't know. I'm gonna play around with this and see if it works. It's definitely gonna be USLS. Import all that. And let's remove that USLS prefix. So now that we did that, we need to say as Salesforce account and then make that Salesforce account. All right, so now that should be good. So finally, we go up to our places that are actually using it. I guess would be right here. And so here's the old one where we're using a standard account. What I'm going to do differently use dependency injection. I'm going to go up here. I may have.
When we get the updated list of fire.
Yeah, that should be it. Just to make dependency injection, I'm going to do that. Now it should just work.
Is that in WordPress, Randall?
So then to test it,
try to fix it.
Trying to find one with a secondary.
But you probably secondary. There's none in here.
What do you need me to do?
Second page.
Mm,
There we go.
oops. What failed? Oh. Oops. Go delete that. Wait. That should just be account. Oh, because we added a package, we also have to register the package in the composer.json.
Yes, sir.
You have to go down to the PSR4. We're going to change it to OSLS Salesforce client. To packages. Right. Apparently this has a typo. This needs to be moved. It was just duplicated by accident. There. All right. Boom.
What is that?
Apparently there's a typo in my JSON. Oh, forgot out that double one. Then let me just make sure it's the right namespace. All right, let's try it again. Oh, that's my bad. I didn't change it up here. That is really weird.
You're
Well,
having a conflict in
I don't know
class.
what it's griping about there, so I'm just gonna remove dependency injection for now. Oh, that's true. We have to go into our decorator. We have to modify this to use that should probably work. Hmm.
I'm calling patch. The first client account patch. Here's a client patch. So patch should be implemented in account. But here,
I think I just want to make this public. Uh, well, if I went down this route, then I would want to see this API. Right, there we go. It was successful. So that's an example of the decorator pattern. So just to refresh, you have to pass the decorator pattern you have to pass the thing that you want to extend as an object in the constructor. You have to implement all of its public constructors, and then you also have to give the internal functionality that you need. So in this case, we had to expose the API publicly so that we could mess with the internals of the class. That's basically how the decorator pattern works.